Our planners also feared the possibility of foreign exchange being spent on import of luxury goods if no restrictions were placed on imports, nor was any serious thought given to promote exports until mid 1980s. Effect of policies on industrial development. The achievement of India's industrial sector during first 7 plans was impressive. The proportion of GDP contributed by this sector increased in the period from 13% in 1950-51 to 24.6% in 1990s 91. The rise in the industry's share of GDP is important indicator of development. The 6% of annual growth rate of industrial sector during the period is commendable. No longer was Indian industry restricted to cotton or jute. In fact, there was well diversification by 1990s, largely due to the public sector. The promotion of small scale industries gave opportunities to those people who have no capital to start the large firm. Protection from foreign competition enabled development of indigenous industries in the areas of electronics automobile sector. In spite of the contribution made by public sector, some economists are critical of performance of many public sector enterprises. If it was proposed at the beginning of this chapter that initially public sector was required in a big way, it is now widely held that state enterprises continue to produce certain goods and services and often monopolizing them, although it was no longer needed. For example, telecommunication service. This service can be easily provided by private sector. Due to absence of competition, even till 1990s, one had to wait for long time to get a telephone connection from public sector bank, from public sector enterprise. Another instance was establishment of modern braid, a braid manufacturing firm, as if the public as if the private sector could not manufacture braid. In 2001, this firm was sold to the private sector. The point is, after 4 decades, there is no distinction made between what the public sector alone can do and what the private sector can do. For example, even now, only the public sector supplies national defense. And even though the private sector can manage hotels well, government also runs hotel. This has led some scholars to argue that states should get out of areas which the private sector can manage and government may concentrate its resources on important services like health, education, etc. Many public sector firms incurred huge losses but continued to function because it is difficult to close a government undertaking. This does not mean that private firms are always profitable. Indeed, quite often, few of the public sector firms were originally private firms and they were nationalized because they were making losses. However, a loss making private firm will not waste resources by being kept running despite the losses. The need to obtain a license to start an industry was misused by many industrial houses. A big industrialist would get a license not for starting a new firm, but to prevent competitors from starting new firm. The excessive regulation of what came to be called the permit license Raj. It prevented certain firms from becoming more efficient. People had to spend more time in trying to obtain a license or lobby with the concerned ministries rather than thinking about improvement of their products. The protection from foreign competition was also being criticized on the grounds that it continued even after it proved to do more harm than good. Due to restrictions on import, Indian consumers had to purchase whatever the Indian producers produced. The producers took advantage of it. They had no incentive to improve the quality of their goods. Why should they think of improving quality when they could sell low quality items at high prices? Competition from import forces our producers to be more efficient. A few economists also point out that public sector is not meant for earning profit but to promote the welfare of nation. The public sector firms on this view should be evaluated on the basis of extent to which they contribute to welfare. Regarding protection, some economists hold that we should protect our producers from foreign competition as long as rich nations continue to do so. Owing to all these conflicts, economists call for change in our policy, and this led the government to introduce a new economic policy in 1991. Conclusion: the progress of Indian economy during the first 7 plans was impressive. Our industries became diversified. India became self-sufficient in food production because of green revolution. Land reforms resulted in abolition of hated zamindari system. In industrial sector, many economists became dissatisfied with the performance of public sector enterprises. Excessive government regulation prevented the growth of entrepreneurship. In the name of self reliance, Indian producers were protected against foreign competition, and this did not give them incentive to improve the quality. The inward oriented policy failed to develop a strong export sector. The need for reform of economic policy was widely felt in context of changing global economic scenario, and the new economic policy was initiated in 1991 to make economy more efficient. We will see new economic policy in the next chapter. This is summary of chapter and try to solve these questions.